Hello guys, welcome to Aspiring Architect. So today we'll be discussing on what is ping, how do we use ping, and why do we want to use ping. So to begin with, ping command is a quite simple tool or a utility which you can use to test the network connectivity. So this could either be like a LAN, or it could be the internet itself, depending upon the gateway you use. So it could either be a NAT gateway or an internet gateway. So you can also test various things, like if you want to see if your NIC card is up and working, right? So you might also want to see how the DNS resolution, if you're able to actually resolve a particular IP address into a name. So there are so many things you can actually do with the ping, but then let's get started. So in order to use ping, you would simply write ping, and then you would use the IP address of the network you're trying to connect. So this can either be a server, it can be a printer, so it can be like anything. It's like it should be on it has to have a network. So here I'm having two virtual machines. So uh, one virtual machine is currently which I'm on, and I have another session open, which is the second virtual machine. Uh, let's try to reach out to the second machine. I'm going to enter the IP address of the second machine. So ping keeps on continuously like looping. It wouldn't stop. So you are going to send out a request to the server, which in case is here 152.67, 173, 192, and you are going to receive a reply from the server. So that is how ping works. And the time which you actually see at the end of the line is actually how long did it actually take to receive the reply. So right now we can see that it is in ms, milliseconds, which means the network is quite good. And then TTL is the time to live. And here, if you can see at the bottom, we have sent 28 packets. We have received 28 packets, so which is quite good. That means the packet loss is zero. When you send n number of packets and receive say n minus 1 or n minus some x number of packets, then you'll see a packet loss, which isn't very good. So ideal condition, you want to see there is zero packet loss. And in order to actually stop pinging, you want to use the command control C. So you can maintain how many times you actually want to ping a particular network connection by using an option hyphen C. So hyphen C means count. Let's say if I want to use only 5 count, right? So I want to actually ping the server for 5 times. So this happens for 5 times, the looping happens for 5 times, and then it's going to stop. You can use this option too, depending on how long you actually want to keep on pinging the other network connection. And on Windows, it would be like 4 iterations, and then it would stop. You don't need to actually explicitly specify hyphen C option to actually stop the pinging. And then you can also use the ping command for DNS. Just before that, let's talk about ICMP. So ICMP is a messaging protocol which is used by ping. As you can read over here, ICMP. The abbreviation of ICMP is Internet Control Messaging Protocol. So if you have two virtual machines and you want to open up the network connectivity between these both, so you want to allow the ICMP traffic. So the firewall administrator could quite easily maintain or regulate the traffic, so which between two network connections. And then you can also use ping for the name lookup. So you have a name. So as humans, we often tend to remember names better than numbers, right? So how hard would it be actually to remember the IP address 152.67, 173, 192, And even in these days, you might not actually have a static IP. So most of the cloud providers have a dynamic. You could use static too, but it's always better to have a name, as it would be easier to remember. Since I have these virtual machines, I do not actually have a name resolution setup. In order to actually check the resolution of a name into an IP address, you could use the command nslookup. So how see how we can actually get the IP address of a particular domain name. So google.com is a domain, and it is being resolved to 142, 250, 195, and 238. So you can actually try to ping this by pinging actually to something which is on the internet. For example, here we are actually using google.com. You can make sure if your virtual machine has an active internet connection. So depending upon how you want to regulate traffic, you either want to allow it or you want to deny it, you want to test it. So this is how it works. You can use ping google.com. So here we are actually resolving to the name rather than the IP address, which is quite easy and comfortable. And you can see the time over here when I'm trying to reach out to virtual machine, which is identical and which is in the same VCN. You can see it is like in milliseconds, 0.393 milliseconds. But when you're actually trying to ping something in the internet, it says 11.2 ms, right? So this is a huge gap. This is 0 point and this is 11 dot. So it depends on various things like where this virtual machine, I mean, what is the distance between the network connectivities, right? Network connections. So, but the good thing is we don't see any packet loss here as well. So you can actually use the ping command, as I told you earlier, to test a lot of these things, right? Uh, Checking the packet loss, checking the time to reach to the other server. So as long as it is in like milliseconds, which is fine. So sometimes it could be like even in seconds because of latency issues and everything. So this is how you can actually test the network connectivity as well. So one final thing which I thought would be really useful is ping. You can use it in like maintenance, right? So just say I have upgraded the kernel version, or say any such thing on this particular Linux server, and then I want to reboot this, and say this is like in a production environment where you perform maintenance on the servers, right? But then you don't know when it would actually be back. So let's first try to reboot the machine, and then let's try to keep pinging. I don't want to use any count. So see how we are still able to ping the other virtual machine, even though we initiated the command reboot. See how it actually stops pinging now, because the machine is down. The virtual machine is down. You can no longer reach it over the network because we've initiated reboot over it. So this is the good part. You can actually understand how long it is taking for a virtual machine to go down, and how long it is actually coming to, like, taking to come up. So when you're working like a system administrator, or maybe like, any particular engineer who actually maintains Linux services, it could be DevOps or any particular role. Uh, you actually want to keep a look of what's happening, right? So rather than just hitting a reboot and waiting for the server to be up over SSH port 22, it's better you can actually use the ICMP protocol to continuously keep a track of the virtual machine's health. So we can see the virtual machine is coming back, and the ICMP sequence, you can see that it has skipped from 9 to 38. Let me quickly cancel it using the option Control C. So on these packets which were transmitted, we did not receive a reply. So that is the reason we can see that there is a packet loss, which is expected, right? You're sending out 68 packets, but then you received only 40 because the rest of them are missing and we don't have them in the sequence. So that is how the ping command works. I hope this is really useful for you. Please let me know if there is any particular topic you want me to cover next. And there will be a lot of content coming on the channel. I really request you to subscribe and like the video so that I can keep producing more. Thank you.